I do want to thank you for the honorary doctorate that I received today. As a bonus. You know, I suddenly got cold. If I thought that I was going to be cold, I would have brought a better jacket. But please continue eating, and thank you. Let me see. I want to start. I had to make notes. I want to start by letting you know that I have my whole team here. You guys, I know you're eating. You want to raise your hands? We are all sitting here and listening and learning a lot and taking a lot of notes, and we really appreciate so much that we are hearing from you. I want to thank Agnes. This is a really good event. Thank you for including us and for always being an excellent partner to the planning department. Again, I'm glad I didn't go first because there's been so much clear expertise, resources in the room. I'm going to go too fast for this subject, probably, but you will receive the slides. And the last slide has my contact information, and it also has links for all of the reports. Thank you, Michaela, for telling me to do that. So if you want to dig deeper into any of the reports. What I'm seeing is that it's called Q&A, but I'm probably going to learn the most. And I invite you to follow up with me and say, this is something you should be considering. This is somebody you should be talking to. This is something you should learn more about, because that's exactly what we need. Okay? Let's see. Anti-displacement toolbox, I put preview because we're pretty early, so we're still. This action came through, develop anti-displacement strategies, metrics, and the toolbox of resources informed by recent studies, reports, and then feedback. So we are responding to something the community has us to do now. The comprehensive plan has about 400 actions. We just jumped on this one because we really wanted to do it. Many of them will be done. Some will take time, but I just want you to know that we heard it enough and it was important. So basically what we started with was what are we hearing from the community first? Because there's a lot of community engagement activities that happen from planning and from other departments. And so I went specifically to those two CPA reports. Metropolitan Redevelopment Agency did an inclusive growth report. And then the Housing and Neighborhood Economic Development Fund, also through HHH, that's another report. These were all in the past 3 years, and all had a lot of community engagement documented and summarized. And so we wanted to start with that. So for the CPA reports, I pretty much we pulled this like almost directly where we could, where it really seemed to fit. Strategy focus areas around the issues of displacement. Maintaining affordable housing, increasing housing supply, supporting local businesses and economic opportunities, and respecting community identity and heritage. Obviously a really short summary, but those were the most common themes. In the rail trail inclusive growth report, some of the, I call them strategy focus areas where they try to get the closest to like real recommendations. Home rehabilitation events, we've heard about those today already. Entrepreneurship programs and incubator spaces, first right to purchase, job training, education, and mixed income housing development. And then HNADF, again, housing economic development fund, same theme, you're going to see. Housing rehabilitation, new housing for sale and rental, commercial property acquisition, training, education, and multi-generational housing. Now, these were a general audience. They did all pertain to a specific geography, but our role now in developing this toolbox will not be limited to that geography. This could be a citywide tool, so it would be applied to areas where it's most needed. But I do think that these are priorities that I don't think leave out an age-friendly community. They are pertinent. We're hearing about some of them. But I did go back and look specifically, where did people talk about the needs of the aging community? And I just pulled a few of the things that I saw. Encouraging multi-generational living arrangements, providing support to ensure that youth and seniors can remain in the community, creating home improvement, to support aging in place housing, and creating housing that serves the needs of seniors. I just say this to let you know that as we're doing general outreach, members of the community see this as an issue as well. You know, it's not only at this room, it's also important, and that's good news, I think. I think we're really good with our framework as we go forward and look for strategies. And I don't think it'll surprise you, but you know, housing is huge. production, preservation, and protection of the residents. And then the economic opportunity, both local business and job opportunities. I can say that during the CPA process, I would hear things like, it's great that the city is supporting economic development, but where's the benefit for the members of the community? You know, is the benefit going elsewhere? So that was a concern. And then community, we've listed identity, heritage, and voice. And I'll still be looking for more clarification on that. There are things in place, but I'll say that for voice, the fact that we're doing this reflects the importance of that, because we heard this from the community, and that's how we're going to try to do it. Here are some, I put this on the chalkboard because it was my lessons learned. See, look at that. And some of you might be surprised that I didn't know this, but for most or maybe all of the priorities and strategy priorities that we learned, somebody's doing something already. Right? There are a lot of programs in place, many times from the city, other times from nonprofit, and many people in this room. Housing production is absolutely necessary, but it's not enough. Many desirable investments, including housing, can trigger displacement. So that's the care that we need to take as we do those things. And economic opportunity and community identity are also important elements of anti-displacement. I've looked at a bunch of examples from around the country, and they all have housing. Many, but not all, have economic opportunities. And this is not to criticize that, I'm just saying this is what our community asked for. I think New Mexico and Albuquerque have a higher visibility of the importance of community identity and heritage preservation. It was something very notable to me when I moved here. So those will be important. No surprises, right? As we go through, and I'm finding all those things that are currently being done, trying to sort them out, organize them in my head. I call this, Michaela, the snow globe phase, where there's so much information, it's really hard to see things, but eventually it settles down and we can get some clarity. So we sorted into some of the existing programs and policies, strategies that are being done now. For example, mentioned accessory dwelling units, those are permissive throughout the city now. Opportunities to improve, connect, or expand. Is there a way we can overcome some of the barriers for homeowners to create? Maybe it's still expensive, even if you've got the right. Are there new strategies we can, and I want to say connect is really important, because there are a lot of different groups sometimes that maybe we can do better by making that connection, or just helping people know what's available. New strategies we can do with existing resources. We were looking broadly, but I'll talk about what planning can do. We know that some cities and regions develop a displacement risk index, and so I think that's something that within our own resources, the Department of Planning is likely to take on, so that we'll have a better understanding of this. It might inform some of the strategies. And then there are bigger ideas that need more time, authority, or money. There will be some things that are way outside of our realm, but we'll still talk about them, we'll still identify them, we'll put them forward, and they may come forward to the city council. Somebody may decide to take them to another body. Somebody may decide to look for some more money. We won't rule them out just because we can't do it. We'll try to be real. Here are a few strategies that really pile up and come to the top. And sometimes these are more like goals that will have many strategies under it. We heard already, financial help for home repair, maintenance, and updates. There are many, many programs. We have some at the city. Senior Affairs, I'm pointing to Joseph. Joseph has some. And then with HHH, Senior Affairs goes to certain focused areas. And right now I'm not thinking very well because I think I've probably written down at least 5 or 6 or 7. Those exist, but they're not as much as the demand. There's a lot more demand. And this is especially important with seniors who have been maybe living in their home for a long time. Maybe they paid it off, but now it's been a while since they replaced their furnace or replaced their roof. And so there are sometimes larger needs in certain age groups. The first right to purchase. Exactly. Yes. Adapting for mobility, aging mobility. First right to purchase programs. I know this is something that is under consideration right now, related to manufactured home community protections. those aren't the same topic, but they're very much overlapping. Legal protections and access to legal services. I heard a little bit of talk about that. I'm hearing more. You know, I looked yesterday at the AARP policy. I just did it yesterday at the day before, but was noticing how much emphasis there is in that area, and heard about it today. That sometimes those are the kinds of things. There's legislative legal help, and then there's technical service legal help. And then zoning and land use strategies. I know that the Department has made improvements both in what is allowed for development, but also the process. But we'll continue to look. We'll continue to look for new ideas. And this is just such a small subset. I could probably list 100 of the different ideas that I can. Here's our timeline. We're here with the yellow star there, about a third of the way into this last quarter of the year. We've been doing a lot of, oh, my slides are off center. We've been doing a lot of research and writing, just in fact, and that will continue. My hope is that we'll have something documented by the middle of next year. And in doing so, right now we're talking a lot with coordinating with our partners in GOV-TV, Senior Affairs, and others. So that'll be also basically ongoing. We are getting ready to initiate some interviews with community leaders as well as with the general public. Because we want to go out and say, this is the direction we're taking. Is it right? What have we missed? And then continue to work the refined direction, expecting to go back out again early next year with again, validating that we've heard things right, that we're responding in the right ways, that we're addressing the right priorities. And then, toward the middle of next year and ongoing, this kind of depends because there's so much to learn. It could be ongoing forever, right? But we know we want to look for those early steps that we can take. And we know that we want to identify recommendations that we can send out so that they don't just live with us. If we can't implement it, we at least want to get it out. If there is a champion, if there is someone who is able to move something forward, we at least want to document that. We've done with input from our agency partners, with input from the community, with input from people like you. And I think this might be my last slide until I thank you. And again, here's where you can see the details of the information I shared. And here's how you can contact me. Very short email address. Contact me. Very happy to hear thoughts and ideas. We're going to try to save some time for Dr. Cooper. She's the actual doctor. But I don't want to cut you very short. I just want to make sure we've got time. So you are invited to provide input, and I'll probably ask for more contact information from Agnes, because I will want to follow